Now, hello everybody and welcome to the Max Sport My Motivation campaign. So when it comes to health, fitness, weight loss and wellness, few stories have resonated like that of our next guest. Trisha Lewis, aka Trisha's Transformation. You are very, very welcome to today's episode. How are you?
I am so good. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm thrilled that you're here because, like many people around the country, I am one of your followers. So I've been keeping up to date with everything that you've been doing and I'm very excited about this. You have a new book out.
That old thing.
There's
at least two copies out there.
Amazing though. Congratulations. Like writing a book, it's no mean feat. Fair play. Tell us about it. What was the process like?
It was exhausting. Like I remember I was amazed. Like it's the most amazing feeling. But at the time I was like, I will never, as long as I live, write a book. And I think the minute I handed it in, I was like, book 2. I think I'm going to go along the lines of summer salads. I'm not too sure. It was incredible. It was a difficult task, but it was so rewarding to see it actually come to life, because I think you're writing for months and months and months and it's all just on Word documents. So you can't actually nearly picture the book by the end. And then it was sent to me in PDF. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is it's amazing. So I just absolutely, I suppose the dream come true as well. Like I never thought I'd be writing a book about weight loss. That was a little bit of a twist of events for my life that I thought wasn't going to happen. So I was really, really proud of it.
It's absolutely amazing though. And like, whatever it is about you, Trisha, and your story, I don't know, maybe you can tell me, why do so many people feel inspired by you and want to be connected with you?
That's a question. I think there's many things. I think I got very lucky as well. Like the people who gave me shout outs were very cool. I was like, what? I was like, I'm dated. But no, I just think that I suppose people are connecting to it because number one, I'm still in the journey. So they can relate to that. I'm not finished yet. So at least they can be like, Era, she's still got a bit to go. She must, I can join in with her. And I think secondly is because I don't hold anything back. If I have something to say that was awful or difficult, or what some might find embarrassing, what I found embarrassing before, I'm finding that I'm just saying it out loud. I'm like, sometimes I couldn't tie my shoelaces. Sometimes I couldn't tie my bra. And then when I started to say that, I found that people were like, oh, thank God, I feel the same way, etc. Or someone who might never have weight goes, oh my God, I never thought of it like that. So then I just decided, like, I'm just going to go for it. So I think it's because I've no filter with it, and it is what it is. And if you like it, you'll love it. And if you don't like it, you'll probably like it as well still in a little way, because you'll be like, oh, she drinks gin and tonics as well. There's a mixture of everything.
Yeah, because you're normal. Like you're like everybody out there. You're what you have and what you portray is something that people can relate to, and Irish people as well, because you have the personality to go with the story as well.
Yeah. So it's really good now, normal in a very loose sense of words. But I think I'm the new norm that people are getting and experiencing.
I know, Trisha, you're absolutely fantastic. But do you feel a bit of pressure though? Because like I've starting my day by checking in to see what you're up to. So I'm sure that a lot of people do the same and they want to see what you're doing for the day. Does that bring a pressure on you to always check in and kind of always be there for your transformers, as you call everybody?
No, not at all. No one ever has, like, not since I set up the account, has ever really put pressure on me at all. I always made a decision, if I don't want to upload, I'm not going to upload, because like you, as a viewer, I think you come on Instagram and you have maybe 5 minutes of the day where you have a little bit of a break and you want a bit of escapism. So I just don't see the point of me going, hey guys, let's do the workout. And I had no interest in it. There's no point in me doing that, because I think it's very unfair to take someone's time with it being fake. So I never ever upload unless I want to. So I get no pressure, like, at all. I actually kind of love it. And I think as a chef, so I'm the executive head chef of Jacobs on the Man, pressure is something that I really love. So like when I have thousands of people that are like, hey Trish, I'm like, hello. If there was one or two, I'm like, nah, boring. But it doesn't faze me in the slightest. But I do think I'm very lucky with the people who follow, where everyone's in kind of the same mindset. It mightn't be weight loss, but it could be just of positivity, motivation, and just having a bit of crack with life and losing weight if we can in the middle.
Where do you find the time for everything? So obviously we're all in lockdown, so we do have time, but like you have a busy job, like chefing is, it's time consuming. You have to be somewhere every day. You can't really do it from home. How do you fit in kind of writing a book, doing your exercise, doing your job, and a bit of time for yourself as well?
I was complaining about it one day and someone goes, Beyonce has 24 hours in the day as well, Trish. I was like, All right, I'll up my game. I kind of prioritize. So for me, exercise is number one. So I'll get that done first. Just get that out over the way. And then by just kind of better time management, and I don't waste time anymore as much on like scrolling through Instagram. And I know that's defeating, kind of going, hey, follow me. But I don't, I try and nip myself in the bud and I keep myself time schedules. When I was writing the book, it was absolutely horrendous. Like it was, but I also couldn't tell anyone on Instagram. So it was like a very
That must
secret
have been
thing, which I'm
hard.
delighted. Well, do you know what is better? Because I'd say it turned into an awful moan. And like, I'm wrecked. What I did was my shifts got at 3 to half 11. So I would drive home, I commute for an hour each way. And then that's when I would kind of get all my audio and podcasts in. And then I'd write the book till about 4:30 in the morning and be back up for 11 and get my workout done. So I was able to fit it in, but I had to be very strict. But it's just, if it is to be, it's up to me. And if I don't enjoy it, I don't do it anymore. So if mindless cups of coffees with random people, I'm like, I'll just say it, I have no interest. And I'm like, can we go for a walk instead? And you'd be surprised at the amount of people go, I actually have no interest either. Can we do that? So I think you just have to prioritize and put yourself first without upsetting anyone.
So tell me about the fitness and the exercise. Is it something that you like, or is it a chore?
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I think, I don't know, I think the biggest part of the whole journey for me was realizing that I'm really good at exercise. I love it. It makes me feel good. I think weight loss has been nearly like a secondary bonus. I feel like an athlete, and like something I thought I'd never say. Like I feel like when I pick up those weights that it was something I was always meant to do. And I think that's because I changed my attitude towards it. So like before I was kind of like, oh, this is a weight loss mechanism, and this is nearly a punishment for anything I've done in the past. But I just kind of changed my mind, going, so many people can't do this, and just because I can't do it now, I will be able to do it in the future. So I kept just challenging to make it small goals. But exercise to me is my hands down favorite thing in the world. Like I'd have been an Olympian if I started when I was like 5. I love it. I'm so competitive.
That's amazing. And like, do you feel that maybe in the past, before you changed your attitude, did you feel a bit excluded by it? Because what we see when it comes to exercise, it's not often the normal. Like it's not
No.
it doesn't portray like it's for everybody.
No, and I think there's two kind of sides to that. I think number one, you can think that as well and use it as a thing to block yourself, because I think in many scenarios you are blocking yourself and you're saying, well, the gym is not for me and the gym is scary and it's full of posers and it's full of people who might take pictures of me. And I get all those, they're rational fears, but I also get the flip side is that it isn't normal to see a very overweight woman doing a box jump. Because what I had said day one was, I was like, please train me like I would be an athlete, not an old lady who needs to lose weight. Like I don't want to go for an hour on the treadmill on my own. I want to do kind of things that other people do. So I do think there's two sides to the industry. You can either, it's whatever you look at it. Yes, it isn't as obvious, but it's also to do with maybe people don't have the confidence to put it up there. But I think that's maybe the escapism that people get at the counter. They're like, well, if she's doing it, well, then I'm doing it and no one's stopping it. But I do think that I would like to see more plus size athletes, plus size, not promoting to stay overweight. I've never promoted that. But I would always promote that doing the journey isn't a punishment. It's actually great crack. And just, whatever category you're in, be your best in it.
There's a saying that we use, or that you'll see for women's sport, and it's can't see, can't be. And I think that probably applies to a lot of different sectors, not just women in sport, but like, as you said, just seeing people of different shapes and sizes doing things in the gym and it been completely normal. And then when you see someone else doing it, you're like, oh, I could do that too. There I am.
Yeah. That's my avatar. That's my, but I don't think that's a fault of the gyms. Because I think the gym is the safest place I've ever walked into. Like, it was so welcoming, so kind. No personal trainer has ever turned around like, you're actually too fat to be in here. That's all inside your own head. But I would love to see more images and more videos and more, nearly like taboo. They'd be like, where's her six pack? I'm like, it's on the way, girl. Don't worry. Like, keep tuned.
Well, you're doing it yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are doing it for people. So you know what other people are looking for, and you're providing that. With the attitude, Trish, like, can you just switch it on, switch it off? Like, how do you change your mindset? Because so many people are stuck in a rut, and like, mindset sometimes is the most important thing, and finding that right mindset is what people need to get them going. How did you get that mindset right, and how can other people do that?
I think the biggest battle that you have with mindset is you convince yourself you're not able to do something. And I think people overthink the start. They're like, how do I start? Where do I even go from here? And the most irritating answer I give people is like, you start from the very beginning. You start from putting your runners on, to your socks, to getting out of bed, to wanting to do it. So with your mindset, you have to be very careful that you focus too much on what others think. So you're like, well, Mary's doing this and Trisha did that, and blah, blah. All of that needs to be scratched out. And you need to kind of go, what does my mind actually want? Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be happy? Well, then what steps do I push into place? So that's literally how I treat my weeks. Like a baby, I'm like, today now I'm going to get this done. Tomorrow I'm going to get this done. And I make sure I do it, because I think with mindset, people slip in the word motivation. That's never there. It doesn't exist. It's not a thing. What it is really good daily habits with discipline. That's it. Motivation is a big lie, and people need to remove that word from the dictionary. But with mindset, I remember at the start, I really struggled in the gym. I was very embarrassed. I was very, I trained in a private studio. I wouldn't look at the mirrors. Didn't have gym gear that fitted me. I was wearing black John Ross pajamas. I was like, just anything. And I remember I was really struggling with the weights. And I remember my trainer, Emma, was like, this is all mind over matter, Trish. You're really just getting this in your own way. And she was nearly kind of saying it in a way like, please just listen to me. And I was like, but I'm not. I was like, I'm way too big to do any of this. And then she was like, literally, if I asked you to lift a car now in the morning, you wouldn't be able to do it. But if that car fell on your mother, you would have that up like that. She said, stop. So it's all about kind of nearly nipping yourself. So when I start to get negative, I kind of go, if a car fell on them, I would lift it. So I'm like, just get it done. So sometimes, and I think give yourself a chance. A lot of people are like, they cross themselves, they're not doing it. That's okay. That's normal. Now, what's not normal is you going against it and actually changing it. So change the rhythm as much as you can.
So tell me about the nutrition. I know now you love exercise, and that has helped your journey hugely. How much has nutrition and food played a part in your transformation so far?
Huge. And I think, when they say it's 80-20, I don't agree with that at all. I think you need one with the other. You need, it's like buying a new car but pushing in like crap air fresheners or crap petrol. You need to make sure that if you're going to spend 25,000 on a new car, you're definitely going to mind it. So it's the same with your body. So nutrition for me was huge, but I also, as a chef, I never wanted to lose the flavor of the dishes. I never wanted to be bored. I never wanted, you can have lovely food. It's so irritating. It's calories in versus calories out. So you could go on a calorie deficit of Mars bars and lose weight, but that's not nutritionally good for you. So that'd be you need to kind of look at the foods, and I think people might at the start of the journey overthink macros, and they're like, oh, what's my carb percentage? I'm like, I don't care what your carb percentage is. Is the food clean? Will it go off on the shelf after 3 days? And do you feel good from it? And will it, because I think with nutrition, you need to think of your hair, your skin, your eyes, because everything, so it's a huge part. And I think people need to make sure that, and I know a lot of diets will promote that, oh, you can have 0 calorie drinks and all, but look at the grand scheme. Having 7 of these a day, would you give that to a 4-year-old child? So that's how I kind of treat myself. I'm like, no, I wouldn't give that Chinese to a 4-year-old, so I'm not going to have it. No, but I think it's all about balance as well. I've never done cheat days. I've never done anything like that, because I think that would lead you into nearly, I don't know, I think every meal should be a treat. Every meal should give you something back, whether that's chocolate and you've decided you want to have it. But when I have a chocolate, there's no point having chocolate and then an hour later going, I'm useless. I mean, just choose it, enjoy it, and move on. See, a lot of us kick ourselves for no reason. So when if you're eating something, make sure you're getting either pleasure from it or nutrition.
And do you fall off the wagon? Yeah. And how do you kind of make peace with that?
I think it was when I fall off. I think with all my life I've tried diets. I've done over and over again. And I know in the 2 years I would probably have got more off if I went way stricter. But I don't know what I've kept it off. So I've 7.5 down now, and I've kept it off, and now I'm chipping away to the 8, and there's no time in it. But I think, I've fallen off the bandwagon. I went to Berlin, and I came back off that plane like a loaf of bread. I was like, oh my God, how am I ever going to get back to this? Even for the flight landed, I was like, I'll get a lasagna. It was any panic kind of going, well, I'm back to normality now. But I think it's all about just forgiving yourself, reset, and move on. Because at the end of the day, we give up. We give up so easily. You admit defeat. And there's no point, because if you're walking down the middle of Grafton Street and you fell upside down, you're not going to lie there and be like, I'm done, take me, I'm gone. you're just going to get right back up. So it's the exact same mentality I have. So like this weekend, I nearly have planned my downfall. We're going to celebrate the book. We're going to have champagne. There'll be food. And I don't care. I'm going to enjoy all of that. But I know on Monday I'll be a bit like, oh, this is awful. But it's just all about starting again from the very start. Don't be doing this drastic calorie deficit. Just get back into the rhythm and the routine that got you to a happy place, and you get back within days.
How do you stay kind of so positive? Like when I come onto your page, you're always happy, chirpy, just in, not even in good form, but just the positivity. I can sense it.
Thank you. I love it. I don't know. I think definitely from exercise. Exercise, days I do exercise, I feel much better. And I think if anyone's watching this and you haven't started yet, don't believe anyone. It'll take 2 to 3 months before you get these endorphins, because at the start it's awful. Like you can't even go to the bathroom. You're like aching everywhere and you're like, why? But I think with my positivity, I try and always look on the bright side, because as the book will tell, like it went pretty bad for me. It probably went to the worst scenario where, I rang the Samaritans. So now when I wake up and I'm happy, I really focus on that. But I try not to be this high that the lows are too low. I just try and keep it, like I'm very lucky. I'm very grateful for what I have. So that's why I like to portray it. And like if I would never really come on camera like crying, because I'm like, nobody wants to listen to that either on Instagram. So like cry to your family. But so when I do come on, well, I'm very grateful. I think that's where it comes from. And I have 8 sisters as well, and they're all great crack. So this would be the personality I always had. And then I lost it in the middle with obesity. So I was like, come back.
Amazing. 8 sisters. I have 6 siblings. I've only 4 sisters. So you do kind of need to have a bit of a bubbly personality, I think, just even for anyone to know that you're there.
Or you'll be forgotten, like, because you know yourself on Christmas Day, it's just like, and I'm like, I'm funnier.
And Trish, like, you're listening to you now, and it's brilliant. But I watched back the interview you did with Ryan Tubridy on the Late Late Show, and some of it was really hard to hear. And it was sad that you went through such a tough time. When you look back on it now, like, what do you think?
That was the best night of my life. That's exactly what I think there. I'm like, I would have told him anything. I feel like I'll tell you anything, Ryan. I was really, really proud of that interview, because I suppose beforehand, obviously the Late Late Show within Ireland is huge. And I was like, well, how was he interviewing me? And I'm still really big. You kind of get all this kind of negativity, a kind of doubt in your head. And I remember just before it started, he was like, I only want to talk to you. He was like, you're the only one. Forget about the audience. Forget about everything. And he was like, you're like really, really kind. And I remember saying to him, like, I don't want you to take a video of like, my stomach area. I was like, just kind of head up. And he was like, hey, no problem at all. He said, why? What's the reason there? And then he was just like, well, that's your USP. So you better own it. I was like, it is. And you know what? That interview made me feel, just before we went out, that hearing that, I was like, I'm telling the truth. I'm going to say what happened, but I'm also going to tell him it's great again. So I think I was very honest about it with the airplane and with everything because some of those stories are quite embarrassing to tell, because you still have that feeling of shame that you're like, I don't anymore, but like, if someone still throws the word fat at me, it probably will sting a little bit. You're like, that makes me cry. Stop it. So I'm really proud I did that interview. It was just the most surreal thing. And I think a lot of people related that night, because they were like, well, that happened to me too. And I'm like, okay, come on, forget about it. You're fine. Move on.
So you are helping people, which is really nice and pretty cool as well. Like,
so class, so much power, so much evil power. No. But like, I just think that, and I think with people, like, people have been hurt. If you've weight, someone has said it. Even if you don't have weight, someone could throw a comment, at you flippantly. But like, you don't have to be 26 stone to feel the feeling of an extra pound. You can be your size, and an extra pound on you is the very same as it is on me. It's the same weight. So I think that's where people might get a little bit confused, going, so she doesn't have a pick in her, she'd never feel it. Bull. Like, people still feel it in the same way. We're all humans, we're all feeling that. So I just think that if anyone is struggling and someone has hurt them, the biggest piece of advice is just move on. Like, hurt people will always hurt people. And I was listening to an audiobook, and it clicked into my head last week. It was Oprah's audiobook, and it was saying, like, how does she deal with negativity? By understanding that someone has already done that to them. So just stop the cycle and just leave it go.
That's very good advice.
Yeah, I was like, you have to listen to that audiobook.
I will.
I'm kind of shouting loud enough that I hope there's somebody.
I'm looking forward to your audiobook.
Oh my God, can you imagine? You need some translator. Like, blah, 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 blah.
But Trisha, like, having so many followers is, and I'm sure nearly all of them are transformers, but does there negativity come with having so many people having access to you?
Yeah, you would. Like, you get people, you get like the obvious trolls that just pop in, and like, you know, it's sometimes it can be so difficult that you read and you go, that's really me now. I'm just having to do 4 workouts and I'm doing well, but I can't control. So I kind of it's really sad. You kind of get used to it. You're kind of like, another person thinks I'm fat. I'm like, okay, whatever. I think the more weight you put onto people's opinions, I like, before I would react or I'd reply back to them, like, why did you do that? Or, if there was a call out page and a lie was put up about me, like, I find it crazy that people, like, it was never at the start, but then the more followers you get, people kind of go, well, you're like the rest of them now. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm Trisha. Mary Lucy's my mom. What the hell? Like, just like, but kind of doesn't matter me. If it's something really mental, I will just send it on to someone I love, and they're like, Trisha, that's crazy. Don't correspond with that human. You've done nothing wrong. So
yeah, I guess if you wouldn't value their opinion in the real world, why would you do so in the virtual world?
I just think it's so scary, and I'd love if there was some regulations with it, because you don't know what position people's mental health is in when they get a message saying you're useless, or you'd be so much prettier if you'd lost weight, or, though I think the worst is the constructive criticism that you're like, I didn't ask for the feedback and now you're really upset with me because I think my plank is shit. I'm like, you overthink, and I just think it's so dangerous. Maybe that's the one thing with having a fitness page is so many people follow it, and they might know how to do a plank, but I would have a coach that had messaged me and was like, that was brilliant, but just make sure your legs are a little bit, obviously working out from home. So I think that is the most scary part, that if anyone thinks someone's doing something wrong, just say nothing. Just because you could cause injury or kind of upset. And someone had said to me, look, if you won't swap places with the person, don't take their advice. I was like, okay.
That's another, and you're giving great advice today, Trish.
Oh, unbelievable. I'm wrapping it
taking
off.
all this down. You'll have to have one of those motivational books now next.
Oh, that'd be class.
So what is next for you? What is the big plan? What do you want to achieve? I know a lot of people are using this time to kind of set new goals, or just to reflect on their lives. What for you would be the dream?
To keep going exactly as I am, loving it, and like not panicking about the numbers, just chasing the feeling. I'd love to eventually get to meet as many Transformers as I possibly can, because I just want to meet them and be like, you're all right, stop crying. It's only a bit of a wait. Let's get it fixed. Like, I'd love to have like a big academy of Transformers that, that I know would have reached out, and I'd have helped them as much as I could, but trying to get that organised, I'm a bit like, there's only one of me and there's 110,000 of them. It's a little bit, but I will figure that out. I'd love to get into radio. I'd love to get into television. I just want to do, like, I'd say I have dreams I don't even have dreamt yet. So I'm just going to keep going.
Well, you do have a captive audience, and a lot of them have sent in questions to Max Sports. I'm going to put some of them to you. One of your followers has asked, what's your favorite exercise equipment in your house?
Oh, good one. The slam ball. I love it.
Why?
It's like a 4 kilo. It's either a medicine ball or a slam ball. I don't know what, but it's the one filled with sand. And I love it. For some reason, it's just the aggression you can get out in it. And afterwards, I'm like, ooh, I love the boxing pads, boxing gloves I have. So, yeah, I love them all, really. They all have their things. The only thing I don't really like is the sandbag. They just irritate me. I don't know. I'm too awkward with them. So the sandbag is not my thing.
They're hard to keep a hold of anyway. Challenging.
Irritation.
Yeah. So what's your favorite thing to do in the gym?
Strength training. I love training legs. Absolutely. Even though I absolutely hate it at the time, I love the feeling of knowing how, like, you can, like, the squats are going up, and so I love that. And I love a good HIIT session. Anything I despise when I'm doing it. Now, I mean, hate it, I can't breathe, and I'm so angry at the trainer. They're the ones I love, because afterwards I'm like, woohoo!
You've achieved something then, you see, when you've completed
it.
So it's that feeling. If somebody is starting a weight loss journey, they're just at the beginning, what tips would you have for them?
I would say take it slowly, create small goals. Don't focus on the end number, because you're never ever going to enjoy it. I would tell them that it's not going to happen overnight, but every small change they make will contribute to it. I would tell them talk to somebody, make sure that they're chatting to a friend, they're keeping accountable, and I would tell them just to stop blaming, move on from even blaming your past self and going, oh well, I shouldn't have done that. shoulda, woulda, coulda. Just move on and get it started, and definitely pump yourself with water. Because if you shower the outside, shower the inside and clean yourself out. Because from all the crap food, you're built with toxins. And those toxins do affect your energy and they affect everything. So I would just say, pump the water in, work as hard as you can, don't throw in the towel and sweat.
Keep it going. Do you set yourself goals, Trish?
Yeah. So I have a big goal of 12 stone 13. So I would have lost just over half my body weight. So I would set goals of 3 pounds at a time. But I don't put a time on it, because sometimes you can stress yourself out. When I was meant to lose it 3 pounds in January and I didn't, etc., because between body fat and weight loss, there's so many different things to it. So what I would do is set goals, and I never adjust my goals. I'll always adjust the time frame. So I would just set small goals every so often. They could be random ones, like lose 1.5 pounds, and then I change up to 6 pounds and make a big challenge. But just something, because I think when you put a time frame on it and you miss it, it's the automatic reaction of I failed when you actually didn't. You just adjust the time frame and keep going.
And if anyone is, like most people are, still kind of confined to their homes, they can't get out, they're waiting for restrictions to be lifted and hoping that their gyms will open again soon. Well, like, what tips would you have for them just trying to keep their workouts going at home?
Just do, like, I don't enjoy live workouts myself. I think they're brilliant, whoever does them. And I find that I spend more time kind of trying to keep up with the person. I'm like, what rep are they on? So I think just write down what you like. If you enjoy squats, if you enjoy walking with a buggy, write down what you like and do that. So just control what you can control. Like, you can't control the pandemic, you can't control the restrictions, but you can control a 20-minute walk a day, 15-minute HIIT session, 3 litres of water, and food.
Simple as that.
Control the controllables.
Trisha Lewis, thanks so much for joining us on the Max Sport My Motivation campaign. I really enjoy following you on Instagram. The thing that I love about it is that even though this is the first time I've ever spoken to you, I feel part of what you're doing. It's like I'm along for the journey, which is great. And I think especially during lockdown, it's been fantastic to just have an outlet and to be able to check in with people. And you're doing fantastic, and keep it up. And I look forward to seeing where you go next, because by the sounds of it, you have a huge future ahead, not just in weight loss, but in media, with your book, and with everything else that comes your way. So thanks a million.
Thanks so much. Beat the bulge!